Nail Down. I'm Jason Gilbo at JGilbo11, taking a look at my 5 pitching options for tonight's slate. Got 13 games, narrowing it down a little bit. These names are, obviously it's a lot of potential here, some upside. It's not your strongest group, even though you do have like Tanaka and Strasburg on the slate, but it's not terrific. I wouldn't say there's a slam dunk home run pick with a crazy high floor, but we do have some high-end options that I feel comfortable with. We'll start with Steven Strasburg, 165 favorite at home. Cubs with a under 4 run total. They have one of the lower run totals on the slate. You look at Strasburg, obviously your highest price pitcher. He's not badly priced, but 10-3 on FanDuel, 11-6 on DraftKings. Those aren't bad prices, especially with cheaper SP2s you can pair when Strasburg can feel pretty good about it. FanDuel, there's enough value. You might be able to look elsewhere and get some similar upside for a couple thousand cheaper, but we'll talk about that. But looking at Strasburg, obviously strong strikeout guy, 27.5% strikeout rate this year. That's the highest on the slate. 6.8% walk rate, not bad. 12% swing strike percentage. Ground ball rate's fine, 45%. Not allowing a ton of hard contact, below 30%. You look at the Cubs, lowest run total on the night slate, 311 WOBA against right-handed pitching this year. That's not good. 22.3% strikeout rate. This lineup is just, it's Rizzo, Bryant, Contreras, getting John Jay in there. Baez is usually a guy you just look at lefties against, not righties. Almora might be in the lineup. They're just banged up. There's no Zobrist, there's no Hayward. These are just not good lineups that they're putting out. So, Strasburg, as long as everything checks out, the weather looks good. He's a guy I always worry about in warm weather, but looking to be pretty decent tonight, so that gives him a bump. I definitely like Strasburg as a top option. Looking at Masahiro Tanaka, he's just a GPP guy for me. He's had a lot of upside. We've seen it. He's a guy who can take down a tournament, but he's also a guy who can just blow up and give up a ton of homers. We've seen that this year. 3.92 Sierra compared to his 5.74 ERA. The BABIP, the left on base percentage are all indicators that we're going to get some positive regression, and we've seen it. Have we seen it consistently? No, that's the issue. 23% strikeout rate this year, 6.2% walk rate. He does lead the slate in swing strike rate at 14.2, but the hard contact 34%, 24% home run to fly ball ratio, that was just insanely high. Look at Chicago, 299 WOBA against righties, 22.7% strikeout rate. I like Tanaka. I think there is some upside here. I also think there is still a generous amount of risk. Chicago is not the team that is just, you pick against like we did back in April. They heated up. This is still 1 through 6, a team with some power bats like Abreu, Frazier, Davidson. I don't mind them. They got some other pesky hitters as well, like Melky Cabrera. So still some upside there. But I do like Tanaka's strikeout rate. I do like the fact that he can still miss some bats, but home runs are still an issue for me. So until he starts kind of getting that down in a more consistent rate, I can't play him in cash games. But definitely like him in GPPs. Third guy here is Zach Godley. He's been pitching really, really well this year. 59.9% ground ball rate, 21.2% strikeout rate this year. 23.6% strikeout rate this year. Cardinals have a 21.2% strikeout rate against righties. Second in Sierra, 6 on the slate in K percentage, swing strike rate 13.9. Just pairing that with a 60% ground ball rate is really strong. And the fact that the Cardinals are just spitting out really right-handed heavy lineups. Carpenter was the only lefty in the lineup yesterday. He's the only lefty in the lineup projected today. And not that Godley's been bad against lefties, but if you're getting 8 right-handers, Godley 233 WOBA allowed to righties this year, 25% strikeout rate, 55% ground ball rate. I could see Godley really going out there and spinning well. And he's kind of influenced ground balls more at home. He's up over 60% in ground balls at Chase Field. That's a recipe for success there in a place that does carry. I think on 2 pitcher sites, he's a good cash game SP2. I don't mind him at all. Good GPP option. There is some upside. Cardinals, can give up some strikeouts as well. FanDuel borderline cash if you don't want to pay up. I don't hate him. Still obviously any time a pitcher is in Chase Field, there's some risk, but I like the upside there. As far as moving down, there's some cheap guys on DraftKings that I'm considering. David Paulino, good strikeout rate down the minors. This guy's a talented pitcher. I like the upside. It's still, though, he's a fly ball pitcher, still gives up a lot of hard contact, 36% hard contact rate this year. Walk rate's not been that bad. Not as bad as I was expecting, 6.5%, but that still can be an issue. Does have a 24% strikeout rate this year in his few starts, so I don't mind it. Oakland, one of those boomer bust teams. I mean, they have the high ISO against righties, but the WOBA's sitting below 330, middle of the league. They do, strike out a ton, 24.9% against righties. That's always the upside that we're chasing. Paulino, strictly a GPP play if you're looking to stack bats and get some high upside in. As always, I do worry about when teams face back-to-back times. They're going to see Paulino twice in the matter of a few days. That's always an issue at times when guys aren't mixing it up. So Paulino's going to have to do that to get by this Oakland team. It's just kind of one of those boomer bust plays I don't mind. There are safer SB2s, which I'll get to now. Ivan Nova going up against a Rays team. 25% strikeout rate against righties. Third lowest run total on the slate. Nova's a home favorite, allowing a 253 WOBA at home compared to 323 on the road. Strikeout rate jumps 2%. Strikeout rate still less than 18%. His strikeout rate's been awful, but home run per 9/1/2 when he goes to PNC, as you can expect. This Rays team just boomer bust. A lot of home run potential, but when you put them in the place like PNC, I don't give him a huge opportunity to get those home runs and chase pitchers early. Nova's been giving up a lot of base runners of late. That's been the issue for him, and he doesn't have the strikeout rate to back it up. But there's a good chance that he goes out there, throws a quality outing. I don't mind him as an SP2 in cash and GPPs. He just does limit blow potential, so that's always the plus as well. And he's just super cheap. I mean, you look at the price tag on DraftKings, $6,400. He doesn't have quite the risk of Paulino, but the upside's there. Small favorite there, -127. So he's very much in play for me as an SP2. I don't mind him, Godley, Strasburg. I think those are the three that I'll be leaning on more towards cash games with. They're all GPP playable as well, but I think Tanaka, Paulino are better suited for GPPs tonight. So that's going to wrap things up with me. You can head over to DFC, DataFantasyCafe.com, check out our great tools and content.